deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe. Oh, fire. Oh, fire. Oh, fire. Oh, fire, fire, fire. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith.
Ready to go, Jim? Here we go. Hi, I'm RenéMarie. Welcome to RenéMarie Stroke of Luck. We always have incredible shows thanks to Judy and Jim in the part of the team. Today is really an exciting, very exciting day for us. First of all, it's World Stroke Day. World Stroke Day is when the world comes together for awareness of strokes. And I think it's so important because as Karina, our guest today, will share that it can happen to anybody at any age. It doesn't pick and choose who's going to have a stroke, and strokes can happen at any specific time. So it really is an important day in our stroke world to make people and help people to understand that they really do need to know the be fast signs and be aware of stroke. Jim, can you put up the poster just to become aware of it? I hope when you see that today that you, oh, and I should have wore red because I think red is the sign of, that you guys didn't tell me. You're going to see that they didn't share with me that I should have worn red. My life is so busy that I'm just like trying to keep up. But anyway, so pretend I have red on. But anyway, so it really, really is important. And Karina is the perfect guest to have on this show today. She's so passionate about it. Jim, you could take the photo down if it's not down. But it really does show her story at a very young age of 15. She suffered a stroke. And we're going to get more into detail about that. And of course, Judy is going to read the press. And that Judy always creates wonderful. But next week is a really exciting time for us. A really exciting time for us. I am so excited about what the next year is about. Next week, November 5th is our telethon, our 9th telethon, but really it's the kickoff to our 10th year. We are so ecstatic about what we've accomplished and where we've come from and where we're going. So next week, we're gonna really just enjoy the moments, have some musicians, some entertainment. We're gonna have some doctors and nurses and all that we have, but really, it really is a kickoff to our 10th anniversary. And we want to share with all our family that Judy talks about that could fill a baseball stadium. And that was our goal when we started this, to have a baseball stadium and to bring everybody and just celebrate life in a stadium. And it's going to happen. We're going to make it happen. And my vision was always Yankee Stadium, but it'll happen. But that we want to make all of our family members and all of our guests and Stroke of Luck and the telethons to please just be ready, because we're going to be contacting you and we're going to have you on our Stroke of Luck shows, and we're going to really ask you to participate and really welcome you back, to give you gratitude for being a part of our telethons and our Stroke of Luck world. And because without all of you, we couldn't have done what we've done. We've been blessed, and Sharon Bean is a big a part of that. And there's so many parts. I don't want to even start saying, because Sharon Bean came to mind because I just linked in her, Judy. And I just was thinking about her, and I really wanted her to thank her and hope she was doing well, and she is doing well. But so please get ready, because this is going to be an extraordinary year for the Language of Love and Stroke of Luck world. So I can't wait. And Jim, could you put up the flyer for next week's telethon, just for a few, you could show just a few of our guests who are going to be on. But we are really excited about it. Is it up? That's okay. Oh, there we go. It's up. So there's our flyer. I sent you the wrong flyer. Well, it's on there. That's today's show with it's my fault. I sent the wrong flyer to Jim. I take full responsibility. But the bottom left is the telethon flyer. And it's going to be extraordinary. I'm telling you, we can't wait. So our energy is up, and it's going to be really a very memorable year. So we hope that sponsors will come on with us, and all the guests who have been on our shows. And Judy, of course, has been a main part of that. Jim has been a main part of that. Ginny has always been a main part of our telethon, and my entire foundation board. So former board members, honorary board members, whoever it is really a part of it. So thank you so much. So I'm going to let Judy take it away with her press. Jim, you could take the photo down. Judy, don't start talking till Jim takes the photo down, because I want to make sure you're visual. Okay, and everybody should be on the screen. Perfect. Go for it. Wait, Judy, you're on mute.
Good morning. Karina Seda is the founder of Living Without Limits. She is a life and health stroke coach, helping caregivers with their loved ones become independent from a stroke so that they can thrive without limits, and had previously suffered a hemorrhagic stroke. Karina has a background in medical emergencies, BA in Human Communication from the University of Central Florida, and Trade Certificate of Medical Emergency Studies from Vocational School, Puerto Rico, and knows what it takes to recover from a stroke and support those through the recovery process. Danielle, our second guest, could not make it today. We are rescheduling her. However, I want to give you some background about her. She is owner, licensed clinical social worker, psychotherapist, MSW, LCSW-R, EMDR, trained and treats a broad range of issues, including but not limited to the most common in human experience: depression, anxiety, trauma, addiction, grief and loss, relationship difficulties, and stress management. Danielle was formerly a community mental health educator counselor at New York Association of Psychiatric Rehabilitation Services, psychotherapist counselor at Clubhouse of Suffolk, Passages Crossing Counseling Centers, Sea Field Center, West Hampton Beach, New York Nassau Guidance and Counseling, addictions consultant at Hands Across Long Island, and has a master's degree of social welfare from SUNY Stony Brook and Bachelor of Arts degree in communication studies from SUNY Cortland, and she will be rescheduled shortly. This educational show this morning will bring awareness and insight into living without limits.
Yay! Welcome, Karina. You can take your computer off mute, ear on mute. Okay, perfect. Welcome, Karina. We're so excited to have you as a part of World Stroke Day, a show. I said to you before that, you know, when I saw you on Facebook, your energy and your positivity and your beauty from inside out about life, you know, it just exudes it. So thank you so much for joining us today. Can you hear me? Oh,
no, we'll go back.
Can you hear me, Karina? Perfect.
Yes, I can hear you, and I want to say thank you, Judy, for reading that. You know, as well as, you know, thank you for inviting me to be here.
Oh, we won this. It's perfect. Timing is everything, and it's perfect. So, Karina, first of all, tell us, and let's go back, because I think it's important to give a back history of why somebody is so passionate about something they're involved with, and I admire you because you are, you know, you're going down the path that you're meant to go down, and you took your experience. I like to call a stroke an experience that we experience, and you're taking that and you're moving forward with it. So tell us a little bit about where you were when you had your stroke, how it happened, the after effects, so that people can understand, and your age, because I know I said it, but we want to hear it directly from you.
Sure. So pretty much it's a very we were, you know, sharing before, is so surprising how nowadays we are seeing stroke happening at young age, and in most of the cases the awareness is not out there. So as we were mentioning before, there is no age nowadays to experience this journey. So in my case, it started back when I was in elementary school. When I was in elementary school, if we go back then, right, where I was, you know, child, a very active child. I love to be outside, to play volleyball, basketball, running, that kind of children, right? That is always doing something.
Were you in America? Were you in Florida, or were you in Puerto Rico?
In Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, okay.
Puerto Rico back then. So it was until a day where I was in my neighborhood and I was playing with the children back then. And I found myself telling them, hey, I need to go home. I need to go home for today, you know, end the day. That day, I remember seeing my mom. She was doing the laundry downstairs. She always, you know, receiving me with a big hug. And that specific day, exactly at that moment, I fell on her hands.
Wow.
So she has to identify, Karina is not like this. Like, this is the first signal, you know, when we are seeing our family members, something different, you know, some alerts, that is a sign. So she has started, something is not, it's not good. So back then, you know, education, you know, the awareness wasn't there, you know, young people experiencing something like it. So back then I was treated like it is just a migraine, it is a big migraine. You know, back then I experienced the case where we had to wait around 6 months to have an MRI testing. So different things happening with the machine back then, and I was, you know, treating like that, but I had starting more symptoms. I remember back then in elementary school, one of the classroom, the children were playing with a race, you know, tiny race, and it is like a ball, like that here and there, until that hit my head. I was so sensitive at the moment. My head was so sensitive that I felt that like a rock hitting your head. So child started crying, you know, they call my mom, but still something is going on. Karina is not like this.
Could
You know,
could I interrupt you for 1 second, just because I want to understand the timeline? When you were home, when you went home that one day and you fell in your mom's arms, um, did she take you to the hospital, or did she just put you to sleep or to rest? Or, I mean, you sometimes we can just, get dizzy or collapse. I mean, sometimes especially when there's no history of stroke in your family, you know what I'm saying? So we don't become aware of it. So from what I understand, you're saying to me, you went right back into school the next day, and you suffered a migraine. How many days later was it that you suffered like a headache? How many days later?
Great question. So to go back, that first signal, it was treated, as you mentioned, there is not, not like nothing, maybe she's tired, she was outside, the sun, a lot of aspects, that case. So rest, normal day, get some rest, go back out to my routine. With my routine in a school, different, I cannot recall, 2006, 2004, the days exactly, but I follow my normal routine. I continue going back to school, a honor student, very focused, active, all that. But the second symptom, the second alert or event to, hey, something is happening here, was that day in the classroom where the rays hit my head. And still, we are seeing something is going on. This is not, in the meantime, I was treated maybe migraine, tired, you need to some rest. But second sign, big, small thing, and I felt it very, like a rock.
And this was the first time. This is the first time you suffered a headache like that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So other symptoms that we start seeing while I was continuing my routine, playing and all that, was sensibility to the sun, the lights. I was like, too much, So when I was outside, more headaches, more symptoms like it. Until in that period of time, we are talking about months, when I went to the hospital to, hey, start seeing something is going on. Even in the hospital, it could, a big migraine. So nothing big. I was treated like migraine until we were able to have an MRI done, which in that case, I had to wait around 6 months. We remember, because that was something unusual. Usually those machines are working and things like that. But on my case, that frame or period of time, we had MRI done. When I had the MRI, moving forward, possible aneurysm condition. 12 years old person, a child. This cannot be real. No. Second test to test it, to prove it. Hey.
And how far off was the second test? Because it took you 6 months to have the first MRI. So how long after did this? Because to me, first of all, they shouldn't have waited 6 months to give you that MRI because of the time, the
it could have got a lot worse.
Yeah. Yes. And and so,
she could have been paralyzed.
Yeah. And then if they give you, that's a wink, another second, third wink that something could be going on, and they're seeing that it could be an aneurysm, so how long was that next test?
So thank God, the everything was just they called the doctor to have the pre-authorization to conduct another one, and it was the same. They have me on the machine is working, let's do it. So they run it again. Perfect. The very other thing that it is a great thing to mention with the caregivers, when they are told this is happening. So to share a little bit about my mom's experience back then, they put that test or that result next to her. What is, is having, is something to take alert. So her reaction at the moment was to, okay, it is, she is having this, the second attempt, almost, the aneurysm was about to pop. So it was an alert for her to take action. So on that case, she was the one who drive me to the only hospital in Puerto Rico where at that time was the neuro doctor. He was, I was, the hospital was in one city, and the other, the hospital where the doctor was present was another one. So she was the one who drive me to that. And another blessing, right, where the doctor was present at that day and that's a specific moment to catch the aneurysm before it popped. So that was my first attempt, and where I start this journey, like taking care of myself, my health, the things we need to have in place to treat an aneurysm and such conditions, and to be able to prevent. That was one of the things. If we are having these symptoms, if we are having doctors, sharing with us the things we should start doing, start putting in place. And in my case, as a honor student and very, like willingness to learn, I start I start searching, and that process, right, that we are most of the cases start learning about the things. That is where everything started.
Karina, I want to know what they did to find out it was a hemorrhagic stroke. They're thinking it's an aneurysm. What did they do next? And what was the treatment? And did you have physical therapy after that?
Great question. So that was the first attempt. When they catch the aneurysm, I did not have the hemorrhagic stroke. However, they start treating, hey, 12 years old, we haven't seen this in Puerto Rico. I was the first child to have such condition. So they start implementing adult treatments. Usually we see an aneurysm condition or these treatments in, later on, the 60s, the 70s back then, according to the statistics back then. So they start implementing adult treatments on a 12-year child. So
Wow.
back then, we see that they treat the aneurysm with the catheterism, the different procedures, studies to test it. It is getting bigger, it is bleeding. I always was test with my physical, like, I am feeling all my extremities, everything, the circulation, all those tests. I was going to, since my 12 years old, every 2 years I had those treatments, the catheterism, everything is normal, everything is working. And they conduct on my case different surgeries to treat the aneurysm, to be able to have that stable and prevent a stroke. So there are different procedures. They start, those evaluations, plus when they decide, let's conduct the surgery, they did everything. Different surgeries were until the aneurysm was embolized, and clipped. They fill with illoplatinum, a kind of material that is put in the brain and that aneurysm, and clip it. So to prevent, when we are a aneurysm, just to share very quick, we have the artery, right? And the aneurysm is an extra ball in that place. So to be able to have it stable and prevent blood to go to that extra portion, they need to fill it with something, clip it so the blood keeps running with the artery, right? And everything starts working.
Right.
So they did everything little by little. I am talking attempts, different times in the hospital. My last procedure, my last treatment was at my 15 years old, 4 days before my birthday, right?
Oh my gosh.
The aneurysm was finally stable. Karina, aneurysm is stable, continue active, future I have. Back then, I was in the medical emergency workshop. I was the leader back then. I was conducting activities for us to be able to follow, to be able to serve. I love to help people. I that is one of my things, and I wanted to maybe go to the military and do other things like young people. I remember I have planned for that summer to go to some model teaching and things like that, like enjoying life. So last procedure, right? Everything is stabilized, everything good, successful surgery. I was in the recovery room. That day, May 14, 2008, I was in the recovery room, and what happened that back then is that I vomit. Usually when we go to a surgery, we are suggested to be fasting, right? That was one of the aspects. I did not eat that day for to be able to conduct that surgery. But that vomit reason, in the same day where I had the surgery, everything was sensitive, recovery room. And that is where the intracranial pressure rose, causing the hemorrhagic stroke. The same day, the same successful day, right, where everything was good. Hours later, from caregivers part, when we are connected, when we have family, that sensation my mom had, something is happening. She was waiting until she was able to see me. And she started running to, hey, Karina, something is happening to Karina. Where is Karina's mom? Where is Karina's mom? So a big alert. You can imagine that that event, that moment where the intracranial pressure rose, alert, they did everything in the hospital, activate the red light, all the things. Karina, go back to the surgery room, trying to save my life. So that is where I had the hemorrhagic stroke at my 15 years old. In moving or sharing more about that moment, to the numbers that people, I don't have answers why I am still here. I don't have, according to science, according to studies, according to the numbers we have, there is...
You're still here to do what you're doing.
That's right. I was going to say that too.
And thank God that you understood that. Thank God you understood that, because, I think it's so amazing that, I believe that you believe, as well as Judy and I and Jim, that, the journey in life has a reason, right? Yes. And here you are talking about your stroke that happened in Puerto Rico on World Stroke Day. It's just, it amazes me the way God works and the way that we all get connected, intertwined for specific reasons. So we're so grateful that you are still here and you're following what you're meant to do. So after that experience, how old were you when you finally got on the journey? Wait.
I just want to interrupt for a second. She's having this hemorrhagic stroke. She's going back into the operating room. What I want to know is what happened after that. I want to know what they did. Was she paralyzed at all? I want to know about her physical therapy. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to
No,
understand that before we move
yes.
further.
No. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you.
Yes. So to share, to continue the same story, and at the moment, what happened at the moment, Judy, I was gone. I was gone twice. In that case, they used the defibrillator twice in order to bring me back to life. I have two beautiful experiences back then. That is why I believe survivors have a mission to accomplish in this world. So I had that. What happened there? I had, they. Uh, I was back, back. When I was back, disoriented, very, in the hospital. I was in coma for a while. Diagnosis, I was not coming back. Everything was, prepared for the worst. So what I found when I wake up, and I also, my mom shared with me that because of the time I was intubated, I developed other conditions to be treated, the lungs as well, and the things to be treated in the meantime. But moving a little bit forward until I wake up. When I wake up after the being in coma, I still remember the feeling of when they take that out, and you start like, ugh, that feeling, going back.
That choking feeling.
Yes. So I remember that scene still. I can tell where the first thing I saw was my mom. When they start testing my memory, what I remember. One of the things they share, I did not remember a specific family members at the beginning, but everything started, step by step, coming back. I remember saying the first name of my best friend. I was able to remember him. That is the first thing I remember when I wake up. When, usually the first things we receive, we are impatient. In that case, I was impatient. They start testing us. Back then, young child, the person. So a lot of testing, cognitive, memory, what I am able to remember, the physical aspect. We start with occupational therapy. We start with physical therapy. In
Were
my
you
case,
paralyzed at all?
yes.
Where were you paralyzed?
I lost everything from the left side of the body, from head, to toe.
Wow.
I had, in my case, because they open the brain, the craniotomy. They open here. If you see me, you don't recognize. I was all abnormal. Let's put that word. So in the testings, I remember one of them, speech therapy as well, psychological, everything, all the things, boom, those are the first resources we have inpatient. In my case, I had to start from zero, Judy. What I mean with that is starting to know how to talk, how to see, because in my case, I had my both eyes crossing, like looking my nose. Everything was paralyzed. So
Right.
I remember having family members going down, Karina, are you able to see me here? To be
Wow.
able to,
Wow.
so I was able to see them. So the first thing is to start, with that physical, my eyes, being able to move it or trying to move it. Inpatient, every other day we have physical, the until little by little, I was responding to the treatment, because this is the other thing for young people. The first thing we need to celebrate is to accept that treatment, and the body accepting that treatment, that is another thing to recognize and celebrate in this journey at young age.
But I think, you know what though, I don't mean to interrupt, but I want to give you some credit because, and I think you're a God worker, because when you're in that position, because I suffered a stroke as well, your brain is
26.
26, that your brain is scrambled. So sometimes you don't understand what it is that you have to do to accomplish the recovery. But to me, you kind of understood it, and out of body experience understood it, and went through that journey. Am I correct in my thought process, or?
Yes, and also I give, as you mentioned, the word credit a lot. That is why the support, the person there, and it's part of my identity and my pool of what I do as a coach. But having someone there in that case, at back then was my mom. Don't giving up. No, it is not just giving up. It's knowing what to do as well in my, because also as caregivers, they need to produce, they need to do more things. As some cases, I thank God for everything every day, the one who wakes me up every day. So, big part is that support, that person, that knowing what to do, because this is things learning in the process. And that here is where, yes, it is a lot for the caregiver as well. For the survivor, we need to do the work. It is not just waiting. Time is going to fix everything. So we need to have things in place. And with the time, one of the things that I always emphasize a lot is the time. The time, because if I knew what to do exactly the right way back then, I know right now the sky is the limit, but it make a huge difference on my results, on my case.
Karina, how long did it take you to recover? I mean, to get your use of your body back, and to, I mean, you're speaking very clearly. You're able, obviously, to move around and everything. How long did that take?
So everything was little by little. In my case, I start the leg was the one, the faster thing to recover. And here, if we talk inside just walking, it also has the different layers. For example, I remember when I was inpatient, I wasn't allowed to do certain things. But like a determined person, like maybe something like is not normal to this world, I take advantage about one day where I found myself alone. And here, we don't recommend this, don't take this too seriously to leave the survivor alone, but also,
Hang on one second, because Jim, is it okay? Okay, that's okay. No, we just heard something in the background, maybe through Facebook or something.
In that case, to go deeper on that first aspect, that is walking, I remember I was doing everything with my right side, right? Moving my leg, moving my arm. I had to wait for people to assist me to go to the restroom. And that was my first thing. At least if I was able to go to the restroom, it was a huge step. So in that very quick, that time where I found myself alone for a second in the room, and it was very quick. It was not the full day. But okay, coming back, Karina was alone. I am alone, and I want to reach that chair. I took that first step by myself in the hospital. one of the things I didn't know was that or I didn't remember, in the hospital, for the visitor chair, it has some, it moves, it is not that stable, but I wanted to reach that, right? I wanted to sleep, uh, being able to sit there. So that was my first attempt, putting my leg in the floor and being able to put that weight and reach that share. In
Something
my
so
case,
simple to other people, something that people, I don't want to say this generally, but it's sad if people take it for granted, the fact that we can get up and just walk, and what you're sharing, a simple little challenge and success that or I hope it was a success that you did. It's amazing. I always like to point out moments when, like, so that what you're saying is really highlighted in the importance of that. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So in that case, I celebrate, and that was my first, my leg is coming back, my first step, even though I found myself in the floor. And this is why we don't recommend this, always be supervised when you do these things as well. But in the time frame, to answer your question, Judy, that was few weeks inpatient, when I was inpatient. And one of my motivation was that my family members create these events, that is a lot of horses go running together, right? And I wanted to be in that event. To be able to be on that event, I needed to get out from the hospital, right? So to be able to get out to the hospital, I need to show, hey, I am getting better. So that was my motivation to do that, my first step alone inside the hospital. Um, uh, After there, I had to start working with an Amy Walker. Amy Walker, they always suggest, the wheelchair. In my case, I did not accept less than my optimal health. I only use the wheelchair just to sit when I need to rest. But Amy Walker first, then I start walking with a cane 4 point until I forgot the cane. And by the
Oh,
way, the cane was one of my best friends, Antonio. Antonio was my best friend when I go back to school, because I was told I was going back to school, right? Karina, I have no future back then, but I get to go back to school next year. And I was going to school with Amy Walker a few days. Then I was able to go with a cane, and I have, then with a brace, everything step by step, right? And the different things, or to continue the same process about what are the resources and the things we receive. Outpatient therapy was conducted as well. I was able to go back to receive outpatient physical therapy and occupational therapy, until little by little, we keep moving forward. I remember, without assistance, or at least with just a brace, walking with a brace, I was able to do it in 2 years. In 2 years. So
wow.
everything was, step by step, back then. And still, we need to, in every phase, there are things we need to get in place to be able to keep moving forward and having that process in all, in the different extremities on what we are working on as the survivor.
I
Wow,
love
that's
your
amazing.
determination
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get well. And I have one last question. I wanted to know, when you were in the coma, when they thought you were going to pass on, or you did you have a vision of seeing God?
So I have two beautiful experience back then. I can share very quick as well. One of them was I found myself in this peaceful, beautiful place where I don't I don't see face to face, but the experience, the peaceful, the feeling was something that you don't want to go away. You don't want to go from there. So it's more, I didn't see, but I feel. And it's very interesting because when we are out there, there is no cold, there is no warm. You don't identify the things we are able to identify here, like, oh, it was raining, it was summer, or you don't feel anything. You just are in a undescribable peace.
It's a
Um,
knowing. It's a knowing. You just there's no question. You know that God is there and God is giving you direction. And that's why I know that you're a God worker, you know. Everything you do because you know that this is the purpose. This is why you've experienced what you've experienced. This is why you're passionate about it. This is why you're able to speak very confidently about what it takes, because nobody can tell you otherwise, because you are speaking from a place of experience, and you know what it takes to experience a stroke in your situation, because all strokes are different, all situations are different, but your story is so compelling and you describe it so beautifully, and your positivity is really it plays an intricate part in your recovery, because no, like I say, no is not in your vocabulary word. You're just gonna keep moving forward and doing what you got to do, and it really is a blessing why you're here today. We only have 4 minutes left, but I'm unsure if you're able to join us for the next show, because on the next show we have a speech therapist, and we'd love to get into conversations about that. And then honestly, we have so much. It really played. We really needed to hear your story, but I'd love to have Judy invite you back to share where you're moving forward to, where, what you're doing now, how people can reach out to you. And the truth is, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but I'm Spanish as well. My mom was from Cuba. So I would love for you to do a little piece for our telethon in Spanish, because we want to reach the world. We want to be able to, because like we said in the beginning of the show, it doesn't matter your age, your religion, your color, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, it affects anybody at any specific time. So we hope that you'll consider all that stuff for us. Yeah, she's like, yes. Well, you're part of our family anyway, the way Judy said. Like, when everybody comes on this show, they're part of our family. But I tell you, your story is just, and I said it before even speaking to you. I could see the beauty from the inside, and I can see you radiating God, and and just doing your God work, and you're just very peaceful and calm about what it is your mission is. So I want to just share that with you, so that, because I know I myself and Judy and Jim know that it's hard to go down the path that you're supposed to go down. Life is not so easy. Life does not hand everything to you on a silver platter. We prefer go down the road that we're meant to go down, rather than the road that's presented to us and just like the easy road. That's not the road for us. We're meant to do God work. We're meant to do God work.
Karina, are you available for another hour?
Sure.
Okay.
Perfect.
Stay tuned.
Perfect. So we're gonna continue this conversation. It's never goodbye to our guests. And Karina is going to be joining us on the second show. Jim, we're gonna close out, and we're gonna wait for our next guest to come on. What's the name, Judy?
Janine Stein.
Janine, yes, Janine. Janine is joining us in a few minutes via to join the group. But Karina, like, we're so blessed. We're so blessed to have connected with you and to be a part of your world and you be a part of our world. And we're blessed. We're blessed. And what a story at the age of 15 to experience that, So, okay. So please don't forget that next week is our 9th annual telethon. It's going to be start at 9 o'clock in the morning. It really is a kickoff to our 10-year anniversary. Please remember all our family, all our friends, all our guests on our Stroke of Luck shows and our telethons that you'll be hearing from us. We would love for you to be a part of our telethon, our 10th annual year telethon. Judy's going to do a lot of inviting people back onto the Stroke of Luck show to reminisce and to talk about things and to come up with videos for the telethon, because honestly, we don't have enough. We'd have to run a 24-hour telethon or 48-hour telethon. I don't think Judy or Jim or I can handle that. So yes, we're so excited about it, and we hope that you'll join us. And please, today on World Stroke Day, oh my gosh, God works miracles in our world. And, the way I look at the world is, we were booking Karina with unknowing or not putting the two together that it was World Stroke Day. And here she suffered a stroke in Puerto Rico, which is, another country, and that today is about bringing everybody together, bringing everybody awareness that strokes can happen to anybody at any age, at any specific time. And we hope and pray that everybody knows the signs. The B fast,
Right.
The B is the balance, the E is the eyes. The F is the face, the A is the arms, the S is the smile or the speech, and the T is a time. And please, when you call 911, tell them it could possibly be a stroke. You're seeing the signs of a stroke. It will put them in stroke mode. They'll get there. They'll assess for that. Of course, they'll assess for everything else. But when they'll call the hospital will pass triage, whereas the registration, you'll go right in for a CAT scan. And that is the process that is important, because time is of the essence. We really want to reiterate that time is of the essence. And Karina's story is really a miraculous one, of all the winks from God that she got along the way. So we can't wait to invite Karina back for our second hour. And we'll see you in a little bit. And on 3, we always blow our kisses. 1, 2, 3. Bye,
God bless you all.
See you in a few minutes.
Bye.